In the given question, it is mentioned about four forces whose magnitude is 10 Newton, 20 Newton, 30 Newton and 40 Newton. They are acting respectively along four sides of a square ABCD. So square is given to us and along that square four forces are going to act. Now the orientation of forces is basically described by their action along the sides of the square. So let's say this is 10 Newton, which is in the direction of positive x-axis, and another force is 20 Newton. Let's say it is in the direction of positive y-axis. So we should be choosing the direction of forces in such a way that by placing these forces over each other, we should be able to form a square. Okay, so you can see here on the head of 10 Newton force, we are adding 20 Newton force, and on the head of 20 Newton force, we are adding another force that is 30 Newton. Let's say this is 30 Newton, and on the head of 30 Newton force, that too in downward direction, we are adding one more force that is called as 40 Newton. So now the forces are either in positive x-axis or negative x-axis, or positive y or negative y. So now the solving becomes easier and we don't have to mention about the angle. So based on the directions of axis, we can directly sum up these forces. Sigma Fx, that is going to imply 10 minus 30 it would be, because these two forces are there in the x direction. So that is equal to minus 20 Newton in the x direction, and sigma Fy, that is equal to the force 20 Newton is acting upwards and 40 Newton is acting downwards. So this becomes minus 20. So the summation of forces in x is minus 20 and in y also it is minus 20. And resultant force will be equal to root over sigma Fx square plus sigma Fy square, which is equal to root over minus 20 square is 20 square basically, and this is also 20 square, which is 400 plus 400, that is 800. So 800 can also be written as 20 root 2 newtons. Okay, so we can even write this in vector form, that is minus 20 I cap minus 20 j cap. This is in the vector form. And here we observe that the resultant force is negative. Okay, both in x and y direction, the resultant force seems to be negative. So let me just to draw the resultant force. This is the resultant force, and with respect to positive x-axis, let's say this is positive x and positive y. So now if we try to measure the angle, so here theta, that is equal to tan inverse of sigma Fy by sigma Fx, which is tan inverse of 1. So that is 45 degrees. So both x and y are negative. So with respect to positive x-axis, if we measure the angle, it will be 225 degrees. Okay, so this would be the angular position of the resultant. Then this is with respect to positive, this is with respect to negative x-axis, this is negative x-axis, and with respect to positive x-axis is plus 225 degrees. So always remember that whenever they are asking the angle, about which axis we need to specify, that should be taken care of. Okay, and we can also include the angle even in the resultant. So magnitude of the resultant is 20 root 2, and that is I cosine of 225 plus j sine of 225. So this is one way of including the magnitude and direction. This is about the inclusion of magnitude, and this is direction with respect to positive x-axis. So even if you write it with theta, no worries at all. This is going to tell you the magnitude, and this is about the direction. So the representations might change, but the answer is same.